The press and the Down Beach Current were notified of this meeting. A copy of same was posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building and on the municipal website. The meeting will come to order. Would you please stand for the flag salute? Attention, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tom, would you call the minutes? The roll, please. Mr. Becker. Here. Mr. Blumberg.
Here.
Mr. Talby.
Here.
We have before us the minutes of our May 2nd meetings. Are there any additions or corrections?
No, I make a motion that we approve them.
Second.
Mr. Becker. Yes. Mr. Blumberg.
Yes.
Ms. Talby.
Yes.
Is there any public comment?
Sewell, 22 West Drive. Mayor, since you could not recall your pledge to cease and desist from being litigious, can you recall the 5th pledge of the 6 pledges you made, Mayor?
I do not, John.
Well, let me remind you.
Okay.
And it starts out with that word aggressively. Pursue shared services. We will actively seek joint opportunities within all areas, including recreation services, public works, public safety, and school administration and facilities, Mayor. I don't see anything being aggressively pursued or actively seeking. Can you fill us in on that perhaps, Mayor? Do you recall or recollect or remember just how aggressively or, actively you're seeking? It seems rather passive, if not comatose. Mayor? That's a question, Mayor.
John, you have 3. It's not a question and answer period. You know.
Oh, I think it should be, Mayor. We're gonna make it the unofficial.
I don't think you're.
I realize that Madam Talby has an exemption because, she doesn't want to engage in a battle of wits. But you, Mayor, do not get such an exemption. And you have to answer up for your pledges. And when you forget your pledges, I'm here to remind you, Mayor. I'm here to remind you that we had no need to spend money concerning the referendum because it should have been a given from the get-go. And likewise, Mayor, this deal with shared services has lain dormant for ages. It is time to get on the stick. I spoke to your buddy Dennis Kelly. He told me they anticipate up to several hundred students vacating the vendor school system. And we just happen to have a few hundred students here. And I would strongly suggest we do what Longport has been doing for ages. I would suggest we become a sending district, ASAP. It's quite possible, and it should be quite probable if you were to keep your pledge, Mayor. How about keeping number 5 pledge concerning aggressively pursuing and actively seeking? I don't see anything being done aggressively, and I don't see anything being done actively. Can we perhaps go off of comatose to perhaps somewhat alert on these issues? These are millions of dollars, Mayor, $12 million plus. We're spending over $1.5 million a year just on special education, Mayor. I'll use that 15 seconds very judiciously, Mayor, because we have to come to grips with reality. And one of the realities is that we don't need the redundancy in administration. You said that you were going to check school administration and facilities. Uh-oh. I'll leave the Balaboos to finish up.
Thank you.
Hey, John, to your point, if I were king, and regretfully I'm not, we would have a shared superintendent/principal at a minimum tomorrow. Tomorrow. Maybe you
minus a
Maybe,
additional principal.
maybe you can continue to push for that at the school board meetings that you go to.
Unlike anybody here. I'm more powerful than bigger. I'm the power booster, whatever I say, the guy can boost it.
Karen Simon, 424 North Willow Avenue. The meeting that you had with Green Acres, Commissioner Tobby, that the Little League was not at, were members of the Concerned Citizens group there? Ann Panko, Steve Warner, any other members?
Yes, it's Steve Warner.
Okay. And you had a meeting months ago when you started to go after the rec department and their programs. And my understanding is that also Ann Pancoast and Steve Warner both, were also there as members of the Concerned Citizens. You don't have to twist your face and all. They were there, as a matter of fact. And so my question is this: why are members of a Concerned Citizens group participating in city meetings that are official, particularly the Little League, when you didn't even have a Little League there? You know, you have your own little group here and the power, and you know, it's really great, but it's really not appropriate. The other thing I want to bring up is about the Dunes project. It's very clear that we have a lot of unanswered questions, and it's very complicated. And people with many years of experience in Moorgate and other places have spoken to that. And Mayor Becker has, Commissioner Blumberg, and our city solicitor. And you've also said that we need to be educated on the one hand, and then on the other hand, you say in the paper, I think we should do it, and I hope that people vote yes. So my question is, why do you think we should do it? If we don't have all this information and these unanswered questions, because it's politically favorable for you?
I want to answer that,
Okay,
but I'm not going to.
But you're not going to answer that now because
I'm not
this is
going
my
to.
time, okay? So you can't possibly not have the answers and then say, yes, it's a good project. However, I said there's a lot of issues that I don't hear being talked about, okay? And the question is, how much damage was done from the ocean versus from the bay? How many businesses lost their businesses back here? And so we need to protect all areas of this island, whether you're the ocean or the back bay, and I know there were conversations about raising bulkheads and things like that. And so I think, and maybe you did the homework already, maybe your project manager,
30
you hired
seconds.
with floodplain experience and everything, was collecting this information, so we know from a Margate standpoint, which the city, the government, whatever, engineers have no interest in, we have to come up, you have to come up with the information for Margate and present it to Margate citizens, because the engineer corps is only interested in the engineer corps. Plus, there are other cities that have not had great success. Okay, 1 second, 2 seconds, are not going to matter, Mayor Becker. This is about our Dune project, and so. My question is have we looked at other communities? I mean, you talk to somebody in Brigantine and they say this. Well, you know, that's not how we should base things. And so please stop dropping names about the Engie Corps and you met with this one, and do your homework. Thank you.
Ann Pancoast, 200 North Osborne. I feel like I have to go on record that the Margate Concerned Citizens Group had nothing to do with that recent letter. It's so disturbing and disappointing that anyone would do that, but especially with my name and Steve's on there, I think everybody in town knows us, and it was very disappointing. But we had nothing to do with that letter. Thank you.
Anyone else? Motion to close this. Come on, Art.
Art Cortelli, 114 North Lancaster Avenue. Many years ago, it was probably okay. No one was talking shared services. Well, these little towns grew up and they have all their little groupings that take care of each of the towns. But now, it's really becoming kind of odd and standing out in front of everyone. I mean, here, if you look at Wildwood, you'll see there's a mayor of Wildwood, there's a mayor of North Wildwood, there's a mayor of Wildwood Crest, and a mayor of West Wildwood. People may never heard of West Wildwood, but they have a mayor, and they have their own police forces and their own fire companies. But we're a little better than them. We have only 3 instead of 4. We have Longport, Margate, and Ventnor that really stand out with their own mayors and their own police forces and their own dispatchers and their own fire people. And it just can't keep going this way. I think shared services is here to stay, and I think we should really give it a whistle and see what happens. Thank you.
Thank you, Art. Motion to close public comment, please.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Becker? Yes. Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Mr. Talby?
Yes.
Is there any public comment on resolutions?
And ordinances, Mayor, ordinances too.
And second readings, I apologize.
You'll stand corrected, Mayor, more than once. Sewell, 22 West Drive. Mayor, your undivided attention to ordinance number 10. As I have repeatedly stated, you have a mushrooming problem where everybody wants their own handicap space. I would once again insist on yearly medical certificates and have a moratorium on handicap parking. We have more than enough in this town. Ordinance number 11, Mayor. This thing with the restaurants and the bars and the food establishments, I would certainly encourage a stripe of demarcation so they know where the chairs and tables begin and end. Otherwise, you have blockage. And the last thing you want to do, City Clerk, is have the ADA on your case. And they will definitely be here if they can't get their little go-karts to go through the sidewalk. Trust me on that one.
Well, anybody that wants to put any restaurant or business that wants to put anything outside has to submit a surveyed plan to the construction
Where
code
the chairs
official,
are.
who has to approve it, and he is also our ADA official. So we are compliant.
But I would suggest that there be some type of demarcation, whether it's painted or striped or whatever it might be. It would certainly make it easier for everybody concerned to realize if there is indeed compliance. I'm not against it. I don't walk the sidewalks that much. Resolution number 118, Mayor. $5,000 for a one-year period? That seems a bit pricey in my book. Just for one location, 9001. I know the city clerk has pertinent information to rationalize and justify spending $5,000, particularly in light, Mayor, of the revenue from energy credits being drastically reduced over the last couple years. And there's only a certain lifespan for these panels, and if we're shelling out $5,000 for panels that may only have a year or 2 years of life expectancy left anyway, it certainly seems like an excessive amount of money in my book. So I would urge the city not to perhaps be so generous in shelling out $5,000 at a crack for single. The city clerk, you seem like you want to have some comment. I'm sure you have better insights than I do.
Well, the
So enlighten me.
contract is a preventive maintenance for $1,200, okay?
That's fine.
There are additional costs that if the contractor reports to our engineer certain items that may or may not need to be done, and authorizes it to go to $5,000. But at this point, it's a $1,200 contract with additional costs that may increase based on the city engineer's recommendation.
I can trust that he's going to be restrictive on the
Yes.
spending.
Yes.
Thank you, John. Your time's up, John.
Wait a minute, Mayor, we have one final comment. I would like one last inquiry, Mayor. One last inquiry. It's short and brief, and I know that the city clerk has it on the tip of his tongue. How much revenue was generated at 9001 Winchester Avenue last year? dollars and cents?
For the solar panels, or?
Yes, what kind of energy credit money did we get?
Rich, it was inactive last year.
No,
We had
it was
here.
active.
wasn't even-
I have it in
Oh,
my
do you?
files, but I don't remember. It wasn't a
All
lot
right.
because it dropped
The mayor's going to
significantly.
share his RSF with you. Thank you.
Industrial strength.
I'd like a little clarification on number 12, allowing governing body the right to waive or reduce stage rental fees for any charitable events and/or nonprofit fundraising organizations. I'm assuming that that has to do with the whole issue about the stage and the log cabin, is that?
That is correct.
Okay, and so basically what that's saying is that necessary because we already passed something that said we were going to charge for it, or I'm a little confused?
Sharon, the ordinance, as it's written, charges for the rental of the stage. This will allow us the ability to waive that rental fee. So if a non-profit or a charity comes to us and says, hey, we want to use the stage, as long as there's no overtime involved in putting up the stage, we are going to consider waiving that $1,000 or $2,000 fee.
But was that a new ordinance
No,
or
it's
resolution?
been on the
The
book.
ordinance has been on the books.
So we just didn't charge, but the ordinance says we
No,
should charge?
we were charging.
Oh, we always charge
No,
for
we
the
never
stage?
charged.
No, we never charge.
Last year,
No, but before, okay, I think I got it. All this is saying is now we
Everybody's
can waive it. Yeah, not everybody.
Sorry, Sharon.
Wacko. Anyone else? Is a motion to close public comment?
I'll make the
that
motion.
motion. Second,
Mr. Becker?
Yes?
Mr. Blumberg?
yes.
Mr. Talby?
Yes.
Tom?
Second reading of ordinance 2013-10, amending Chapter 257 Vehicles and Traffic for handicap at 10 North Union.
I'll make that motion.
Second,
Mr. Becker?
Yes?
Mr. Blumberg?
yes.
Mr. Talby?
Yes.
Ordinance 11 authorizes or permits outdoor and sidewalk tables, chairs, and benches for food establishments, restaurants.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Mr. Talby?
Yes.
And ordinance 2013-12 amends Chapter 132 fees as just discussed.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Mr. Talby?
Yes.
Resolution 115 authorizes the payment of claims and payroll.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Mr. Talby?
Yes.
116 approves change order number 8 for alterations to Fire Station 1, an increase of $4,750.
I'll make the
that
motion. I'll second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Mr. Talby?
Yes.
Resolution 117 authorizes adjustment in the 2012 excess sewer billing for Blue Water Marina, reduction of $855.
I'll make the motion.
Second,
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Mr. Talby?
Yes.
Resolution 118 awards EUS contract as previously discussed to Sun Power Corporation.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Mr. Talby?
Yes.
Resolution 119 awards contract asphalt paving for the 2012 road program in the amount of $1,927,000.
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Mr. Talby?
Yes.
And Resolution 120 authorizes the assessor to file tax appeals for errors.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Mr. Talby?
Yes.
Resolution 121 will extend the due date for water and sewer bills, the minimums, to June the 7th.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll
Mr.
second.
Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Mr. Talby?
Yes.
Resolution 122 will approve a fireworks display on July the 4th with a rain date of July the 5th.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Mr. Talby?
Yes.
And number 127, I wrote down authorize, but I can't recall what it was. We were going to
I don't
have...
think we have to do that. I think Ed's going to, we'll have to clarify.
Which
Rich?
subject was it?
That was on, I
Sewer
think, Tom,
closer?
I'm sorry, on what?
I think it was for assistance in the topic that Roger was discussing.
Oh, okay. That's what we're not
the
doing?
assistance with the flood issues.
Rich, is that correct? We don't need an ordinance for Stuart Weiser. Ed Wahlberg's going to retain him if we need him, is that correct? Okay, we don't need it.
Okay, I didn't remember, I remember something else, but maybe I'll just, no big deal.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn?
Second?
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Blumberg?
Yes.
Staubby?
Yes.
Thank you all for being here.